to today's webinar on career in advertising and PR, featuring our expert faculty speaker, Mr. Abhishekh Choudhary. Pimpri-Chinchwad University, proudly the part of PCET, boasts a 33 years of legacy of excellence in education. We continue to lead by preparing young leaders for the future. Pimpri-Chinchwad University, a cornerstone of PCET's esteemed educational tradition spanning over 3 decades, remains committed to nurturing the next generation of leaders. Our university, comprising of several renowned schools, each dedicated to excellence in their respective fields. Among them are the School of Engineering and Technology, School of Management, School of Design, School of Sciences, School of Liberal Arts and Humanities, School of Pharmacy, School of Law, and School of Media and Communication Studies. Within our School of Media and Communication Studies, we offer an array of programs tailored to meet the evolving demands of this industry. These include BA in Journalism, Media and Communication Studies, BSc in Animation, VFX, and Multimedia Sciences, BBA in Advertising, Events and Public Relations, and BBA in Digital Filmmaking. And we invite you to join with us to delve into the latest development and opportunities that is there in this field. Um, Before we start, let's just get a glimpse of our prestigious university. So I'll just be playing a short video for university. Can somebody confirm? Can you see the screen?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you.
The Pimpri-Chinchwad Education Trust has established a state private university known as Pimpri-Chinchwad University at Sate, Vadgaon Mawar in Pune Metropolitan Regional Development Authority. It is a 30-acre campus of academic facilities and amenities for students and teachers to help them to achieve their fullest potential. The Pimpri-Chinchwad University campus is well connected with the cities Pune and Pimpri-Chinchwad by road through Mumbai-Pune National Highway number 4 as well as Mumbai-Pune Expressway. Also, railway station Kanhe is at 1 kilometer distance. The nearest airport is Pune Airport. PCU has its different verticals which prepares leaders from different fields. School of Engineering and Technology. School of Design. School of Media Arts and Communication Studies by incorporating cultural activities, events, and organized tours and trips, fostering a holistic development approach. In a sense, Pimpri-Chinchwad University is not just an institution. It is a vibrant ecosystem that nurtures talent, fosters creativity, and provides a platform for students to thrive in every aspect of their academic journey. PCU Bus Transport provides service across the city. Pimpri-Chinchwad University, transformative education that empowers success in a rapidly evolving world.
Video of our university. Today I'm so
Hello,
pleased
ma'am.
to welcome our
Ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am. It's There's a disturbance around, ma'am.
Now,
No, ma'am. It's your voice is distorted. Like,
is it better now?
yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So today we are pleased to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Manimala Puri ma'am, our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sudeep sir, respected deans, directors, head of institutes, faculty members, and all the students who have joined with us today. This webinar aims to provide the deep insight into the field of advertising as well as PR, offering the highlights about the career opportunities in this changing media landscape. Um, it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Abhishekh Choudhary, sir, an expert faculty member of our School of Media and Communication Studies. Mr. Abhishekh Choudhary brings a wealth of experience from both media industry and academia with his expertise in advertising, PR, as well as journalism. He has worked as a senior copywriter, account head, media strategist, creative producer for various prominent ad agencies, PR agencies, as well as news channels. And since 7 years, he's been working as an expert academician for the stream of media, communication studies, and film studies. He's currently associated with Chinchwad University School of Media and Communication Studies. Welcome you, sir, and we are eager to hear from
Am I audible?
you. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just to open this webinar, first, let's just we wanted to open it with a very general question about if you could just throw some light about this advertising industry as well as PR industry, since many of our students are directly coming from various streams after their 12th standard. So if you could just throw some light on advertising and PR, and also can you just briefly explain the difference between this advertising and PR? Are these a different industry or it just the same?
Okay. We can start with the traditional description and the traditional definition of the book. Now, traditionally, advertising and PR, the basic difference that was always defined was one is a paid form of promotion, another is non-paid form of promotion. So, what do we basically mean by this? So, when I want to promote my product through advertising, I'll pay the newspaper for the space. I'll pay any channel, entertainment channel, news channel, any channel. I'll pay for the slot. I'll pay for a space, and then I'll advertise myself. Then I'll promote this. So that's the most traditional definition of advertising. When it comes to public relations, you create scenarios, you create situations, you create events wherein the news channels give you the coverage, where they provide you the coverage. And that's why we call it as a non-paid form of promotion. But not everything is non-paid. There are certain things which are always paid. But those are the under the table technicalities of the world. But going by the book, going by the theoretical understanding, this is the most basic difference between advertising and public relation. Where in one scenario you pay to the medium for promoting yourself, and in other one you don't pay for the space, but you create situations, you create scenarios, you create stories so that be in the story, so that the news channels come to you and they give you proper coverage. They talk about you in the newspapers and the news channels. So that's public relation. In advertising, you're supposed to deal with the brand managers. You're supposed of that particular brand that we call as client. You're supposed to deal with the marketing managers. But when it comes to public relation, our biggest communication takes place is with journalists of that particular beat. So let's say, for example, I'm a pharmaceutical company, and there are a lot of restrictions on companies of pharmacy according to Indian law and regulations. So pharmaceutical companies cannot go beyond a certain point. to advertise. So the maximum you will see.
बोल में अभी थोड़े स्टूडेंट से बात करती हूँ, फिर हम हॉस्टल देखने
The most you can do is, in when it comes to pharmaceutical company, the most you can do is advertise Vicks, Crocin. I know you will not see the advertisements of tablets for cancer, diabetes. There's certain restrictions. So how do pharmaceutical companies communicate or promote them? So do they need promotions? Yes, definitely they do need promotions. So they are heavily dependent on the public relation platforms. So let's say, for example, as a pharmaceutical company, Pfizer or the other brands that came up with Covaxin or Covishield and these kind of vaccinations, they filled the newspaper slots with their developments. Okay, so that's also a kind of promotion, but that comes from the public relations side, wherein you are supposed to have a healthy relation with the journalists and the news forms. Whereas advertising, you just pay and they'll talk about you. But then again, there are certain industries that cannot go outside openly and advertising themselves, one of which is pharmaceutical companies, but that's due to rules and regulation. Then there are other industries who generally don't talk to the layman. Let's say, for example, companies that are related to the raw materials of the constructions. So you will not see the ads of all the raw materials. You'll see the ads for Saria, you'll see the ads for cement, but you'll not see the ads for other entities. But they do need promotion. So there's different ways of doing that. So the most basic definition, the most traditional definition of advertising, or the difference between advertising and PR, is that in one, advertising agencies, the dependency is heavily on the paid platforms, whereas PR, you create scenarios, you create stories. But I was using constantly the word traditional. These definitions are gradually changing. But as of now, we'll go by this traditional definition and the difference.
Okay, thank you so much. You have mentioned this specifically about like when we are talking about advertising and PR as well here. So, you can just give us the example of what we have recently seen happening with the Patanjali's ad of Coronel. That case has happened. It started with an ad, and now that is becoming difficult for them to manage that whole crisis. So how does PR plays the role in that when maybe let's say because these days it is happening on digital media and all, people have started to cancel the brands just because their advertisement was not following up the norm. So again, just can you share like how does the PR and advertising agencies plays the role today and how crucial it is?
See, traditionally, I don't know how many students are there, but if we go in terms of comparing the period of 80s, 90s, and 2000s, there were certain benefits, certain liberties that we had during 90s. The biggest one was there was no social media and there was no cancel culture. It was not easy to cancel any brand the way it is easy right now. We used to cancel things back then also, but the ease of canceling today is more. Now, why I mentioned this is because brands like Coronel or Patanjali, or in fact, to that matter, even Adani, uh, with the advent of digital platforms, crisis management became the most crucial department of PR for and also for advertising. So in 90s, in advertising, very rarely we used to come across this term crisis management or managing some kind of crisis. And all these crisis managers used to belong to the brand side. They came from the client side. They were not part of the agency. Okay. But in today's time, in today's era, if I'm applying for an agency, if I, let's say, for example, if I want to become a PR specialist, I need to have the skills of crisis management. I need to have an understanding of the crisis management. That change has come due to digital media. And why due to digital media? Because, like you said, it will not take me 5 seconds or 10 seconds to cancel any brand or any product. Okay, so that's the need. That's the biggest need today. That gone are the days when when we started our career as copywriters, all they looked for was creativity.
Hmm.
मैं 1 मिनट में कितने टैगलाइन लिख सकता हूँ, मैं 1 मिनट में कितने स्लोगन लिख सकता हूँ, इस बेसिस पे मेरी पहली नौकरी. ठीक है. But now, as a copywriter, I also need to think in terms of management, in terms of crisis management, in terms of how this particular campaign is going to end. Because crisis, the number of crises has also started increasing by due to the
Yes,
digital
absolutely.
platforms.
Yes.
पहले वो कई ऐसे एड्स होते थे जहां पर हमें we never found it offending, or we never found it that
Hmm.
but today these days I think offense taking offense has become a pastime of ours. So when we don't have anything to do, we start taking offense by everything and nearly everything. Advertising has also fall under that category now. So
Hmm.
every now and then you might have seen that some or the other ad is offending someone. Okay.
Yes.
So in that context, how to deal with this, how the industry is today dealing with it. The number one thing is, internet is something that is boon and curse at the same time. Digital is something that is boon and a curse at the same time. Okay, so things that
Hmm.
make you laugh will also make you cry.
Yeah.
What we say that things. So social media, if social media is becoming a challenge, social media is also becoming a solution. Okay. So
Hmm.
what social
True.
media has done for brands. Let's say, for example, in the context of brands that went under some kind of controversies, and how they cope up, how they manage to handle that crisis. They use social platforms for research. They used social media platforms for sentiment analysis. They used social media for various type of sentiment and psychological analysis. And accordingly, on the basis of those reports, on the basis of those analysis, they started drafting their communication. Now, in crisis management, we teach the first step is always to deny. That's the first
True.
stage. So whenever there's a crisis, the first step is always to deny. And if you take the example of Adani, Patanjali, all the brands that went under some kind of controversy, you'll see the commonality that the first stage was to deny.
Hmm.
Apology is the last stage. That's the final
Hmm.
stage in crisis
Yeah.
management. The first step is denial. To always keep denying, to blame it on the competitors, to blame it on the external forces. Okay. And then there are 7 to 8 such stages, but the first stage is denial. With denial starts the analysis. So even when let's say, for example, if social media helped canceling my brand, social media is also helping me to develop my brand, to rebuild my
Hmm.
brand. And Adani used social media very strategically, and it was very subtle. It was not to the face, but it was very subtle. Okay. While answering your first question, I mentioned that I'm emphasizing on the word traditional. Traditional. The reason was that we have now entered the era where we are not selling products and services, but we are selling stories. Every brand is supposed to sell a story. Adani sold a story. Okay. Patanjali sold a story. They went through the crisis. They apologized. Patanjali had to apologize. That was the last stage. They cannot do anything after that. So they had to
Hmm.
apologize. But if you see the initial stages, crisis management has become the integral part. So advertising people are also now supposed to think from the crisis management point of view. Public
Hmm.
relations, Kamita PR were supposed to think and work for the crisis management.
Hmm.
But today, advertising has also there's a pressure on advertising agencies also to think from that particular point of view of managing the crisis. So this is one biggest change that has taken place when compared to the traditional. If you compare the traditional idea of advertising in PR and the current new age idea of advertising in PR, how they are coping up, like I said, they are using the same platforms that is canceling them. So if social media is and the digital spaces are canceling them, they are using the digital and the social spaces only to rebrand themselves. And with the advent of AI, it has become more easy. The sentiment analysis, uh,
Hmm.
the intelligence analysis, or the or the idea or the recall analysis, recognition analysis, these things have become way very easy with the advent of AI. So they are using all these tools. So they are using all these tools, and they are drafting their communication through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's how they are dealing today. They are using the same platforms that is canceling.
Okay. But there is also one common thing that we listen to about when it comes to PR. Any type of PR is like best for us. Any type of promotion, be it negative or positive. So with that, since we have always we have also blended it with digital era, I wanted to know how it is influencing the PR industry as such. Like, is it actually what it is being said that, any type of promotion is fine, be it negative or be it positive? Is it still the same or has it changed in this digital era?
No, any kind of promotion is good. I generally, that's my personal opinion. If you want to do something cringe, that's fine. Then that's the philosophy you should follow. Any kind of popularity is good. Okay. So let's say, for example, Rakhi Sawant believes in it. So now it's up to you. You want to communicate about your brand as Rakhi Sawant, or you want to communicate your brand as Amul, or to present your brand as Tata. So if you'll follow the leagues of brands that are successful in terms of communicating, like Reliance, Tata, Mahindra, you will not find these brands to follow the philosophy that any kind of promotion is good or any kind of publicity is a good publicity. They don't do that. See, the problem why they don't do that is if you want to build a trust and a credibility among the Indian audiences, you'll have to keep these ideas. But answering the question that whether it has changed or it has in fact increased. Okay. People have started believing more and more on this, and I'm saying, from the point of view of influencers and the
Mm.
uh, entities, not from the point of view of brand. You will not find any brand doing this.
Yeah.
ठीक है, गलत हो गया तो हो गया, गंदी पब्लिसिटी भी अच्छी होती है, ब्रांड्स डोंट डू जनरली, वो पहले भी नहीं कर रहे थे, वो अभी भी नहीं कर रहे और वो आगे भी नहीं कर रहे, एंड स्पेसिफिकली ब्रांड्स दैट आर लिस्टेड on share market, they'll not take that. So but yeah, but people who want to create some cringe, it's fine. The philosophy is fine for them. They can go ahead with it and it works. In fact, it works more today. And I'll not give you the example of brands because I cannot think of any brand doing this, but there are individuals who do this. We saw Deepak Kalal on Big Boss. We saw Tommy Om on Big Boss. Hey, Urfi Javed is one of the were always trending hashtags on Instagram. So there are individuals, but brands don't. It's a very risky thing for a brand to believe in this, that any kind of publicity.
Okay. But I wanted to know with the digital era, how is this digital era influencing the advertising as well as the PR industry, especially with the professionals, like the traditional way of the way they used to maintain the relationship with the public. Let's say, for example, for PR, they had to maintain the relationship with the news organization, as you have told in the first question. But now with the digital era, how it has changed? Like, because now they have social media, we have easy connect. So the traditional way of working in this advertising as well as PR, and now in this era where everything is being influenced by this digital platform.
In terms of profession, in terms of careers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of career, I'll start with a small example. Like, recently, I was just visiting few websites of ad agencies or international ad agencies. And out of curiosity, not looking for a job, but sheerly out of curiosity, I went on the career section. And I realized that the ad agencies are now willing to hire data analysts. Ad agencies are now willing to hire people with blended knowledge, who occupy the creative side also, but at the same time who are well aware and multi-skilled in various for various other platforms or various other streams. So let's say, like for example, the demand for students with a good understanding of sociology with media will increase. Okay, I'll tell you why. In the, while we'll move ahead, but now I'm just giving a glimpse. Back when, like I said, when I gave the first interview in an ad agency, I was given 1 minute to write 10 slogans. They liked the slogans, they hired me. There was no other question. Okay, and when I started, I was in my second year graduation, so they didn't even bother to ask for my degree. But in today's time, if I go and if I apply at this point in today's era, in today's age, I need to have a blended idea of everything that falls under the category of social sciences and humanities with a technical capability. So, as a copywriter, the biggest requirement from my side will be the biggest expectation of client or agency from me will be to have a creative bent. But with that creative bent, they will also expect me to have a very thorough and a proper understanding of what is brand management, what is marketing, principles of marketing, what is social media platforms, the technicalities and the nitty-gritties of the social media and the digital platforms. They'll also expect me to have a thorough understanding of subjects like sociology, management, and rural marketing, and so on and so forth. So today we are looking for the industry wants more and more individuals who have multi skill sets, who can perform multiple tasks. Okay, like I said, data analyst. Now, one of my friend is associated with one ad agency. I'll not name, but he's working on brands like Gillette and stuff. So now they are being trained to analyze data as copywriters. They send them the data that they have acquired from the social media platforms, and the copywriter are now supposed to analyze that data and create copy around those analysis. So positions are going to stay intact. Let's say, for example, account planning, majorly media students, when they start working for ad agencies, they work in these three departments majorly: the account planning department, the creative department, and the art department or media planning and buying department. Fourth, many agencies consider art to be a part of creative department only. So these are the three major departments where the media students generally work. Similarly, the same goes for PR agencies. Okay. But now, with the advent of digital platforms, with the advent of these technologies, and with the advent of this new mediums of communications, these positions are there, but the additional responsibility has been, is been increasing every day on these traditional positions of itself. Now, if I'm an account head for any particular client, or if I'm an account head for any particular brand, I need to have an understanding of nearly everything that falls under every subject that deals with public, be it psychology, be it consumer psychology, be it consumer behavior, be it AI technologies, be it social media technologies, and at the same time to have a knack for creativity. So earlier, creativity was the most that was expected from a copywriter. But now a copywriter is a writer with a strategic bent. So copywriters should be creative, but at the same time strategic. So the responsibilities are increased. Positions are there. And there are, like I said, that there are new requirements in the market.
All right. So, like you have mentioned a lot of time about having the knowledge from the varied subject also. So, what type of training or the skill set you have briefly mentioned that as well? Just wanted to go through it, like about a proper education system or the courses that should include so as to meet these kind of requirements. So, what exactly they should follow?
Right from political systems, social systems to design softwares and AI tools. That's the range. That is the range which will guarantee a job that will secure your future. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why at PC also when we were working on the syllabus, we made sure that we'll put all this incorporate these things in the syllabus, because we observed one very key factor, that the academics is going in some other direction and the industry is going in some other direction. They're not meeting each other at any point. Okay, so that should not be the case. Academics is supposed to create individuals for the industry. That's the biggest help academic does to the industry. We serve the industry by creating individuals who can take that industry ahead, not by closing our eyes to the realities. So we insist on we uh, discussed a lot with industry panels with different way. I personally talked to the friend, our HOD talked to our colleagues and friends. We talking here and there, discussing, researching. After the thorough research, we realized then a discussion with the industry professionals and the stalwarts from the industry. We decided that okay, fine, these are the subjects that we must keep. This is the requirement of the industry. So gone are the days where you will teach copywriting and you will just ask the student to leave that you are a copywriter. Or you'll teach the student client servicing and account planning and you'll ask the student to leave. Okay, you are a client servicing person. It's not going to happen. Client service, I'll give you one example. There was this one student of mine who went for an interview for client service and was asked about share market.
Oh.
Because what people don't understand, let's say, for example, if my client is Tata, which is a publicly listed company, I need to know about share market. I need to have an understanding about the market. So, education that is a blended education. That is the key requirement. Education that will teach students about multiple platforms, about transmedia, and how to tell a story on this transmedia to make students equipped and comfortable with various forms of communication using various forms of mediums. Okay, and to give at the same time to give student a knack for the social sciences and the humanities. So, like I said, right from political systems, constitutions, society, to AI technologies and the softwares. That is the range the industry is looking for now. Okay,
Yes.
I hope I answered that question.
Yes.
Hmm?
Also, we have mentioned AI a lot many times. So, and that's a typical question that we come across so many times. The students keep on asking, the teachers keep on asking. Even the professionals have started to feel it as a threat. So, as per your understanding, is AI really a threat, or especially from the narrative of advertising and PR?
AI is a threat for mundane jobs.
Hmm.
Okay, website content, brochure writing, pamphlet writing, flyer designing and writing. So in advertising agencies, in every job profession, there are certain things which gives you a different level of pride, and there are certain works that always someone strives to. Like for example, back in our days in ad agencies, if you get an opportunity to work on a television commercial, you are the biggest copywriter of your agency because you have worked on a television commercial. Print चलता रहता है, brochure चलता रहता है, website चलता रहता है. These were the work where copywriter used to, they used to hate this kind of job. They used to pray that I should not get a this website writing or the brochure writing kind of thing. Everyone wanted to work for magazine ads, print ads, or television commercial was the supreme, was the ultimate. TV se लिख दिया मतलब you are something. But now it's good that all these mundane kind of jobs are done by the AI tools, and the industry is using it. When we say is AI a threat, advertising agencies are not considering it as a threat. Advertising agencies are using AI tools. They are cutting down the mundane things. So AI is a threat for the mundane jobs. Artificial intelligence cannot give you the lines like "Thanda matlab Coca Cola." Your AI technologies cannot give you taglines like "Isko laga dala to life jinga lal." You need a human creative mind over there to understand the cultural nuances, to understand the socio-cultural aspects of any given society. Like for me personally, I think Maruti Suzuki's campaign "Kitna Deti Hai" was a perfect example of communicating after understanding your audience. So the line went like for a country that is obsessed with mileage, and the campaign line became "Kitna deti," kitna average hai gaadi ka, if you remember that. So this AI cannot write a line like "Kitna deti." So creative jobs are still safe. The only jobs that will come under threat will be the mundane jobs. Other jobs that used to be time consuming and less fruitful and productive. So now the writers are going to be dependent on AI tools for writing brochure, website content, SEO optimization. These are the things they'll use AI. But they'll not use AI for taglines, slogans, jingles. Because AI cannot do it. Right now, as of now, they cannot do it.
Okay. So after this, just take one final question. Like this was just a frequently asked question that I have come across. That apart from like after pursuing this course of BA advertising and PR, supposedly if a person wants to go in some other field as well, like that's a stream actually opens it to some other professions as well. Apart from just advertising and PR, like a journalist turns into a writer, something of that sort.
Pardon, your voice got muffled. Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. So, like, we have come across this question multiple of times that, like, after, like, maybe after working for a few years for advertising or PR industry, like, does it also open the door for other professions? Like, we usually get to see about the journalists turning into writers, journalists turning into script writers, or some things like that.
You see, media industry is the most democratic industry. You name me one industry, any such industry, where a person with some random degree can also work. Let's say, for example, I want to become a doctor.
Mm.
The basic expectation will be MBBS. But what if I have an MBBS, but I want to become a filmmaker? I can. Majority of the writers of OTT platforms are from engineering background. When we started our career in advertising, majority of the copywriters and the creative directors were from engineering backgrounds and IITs. So media is a highly democratic form. Number one.
Mm.
Some of the greatest filmmakers like R. Balki, Shyam Benegal were from advertising industry. They started their career as copywriters and later on went on to become some of the legendary and the greatest filmmaker of this country. Okay, so media industry gives that flexibility. So let's say a journalist can become a writer, an advertising person can become a writer too. They become very fantabulous writers. Pralhad Kakkar recently wrote a book, Ad Man, and it did well. So
Mm.
after working in ad agencies, after and let's see, the first thing that I want to, not the first thing, but this is one very important thing that we need to stop differentiating now between advertising and the PR agency. These are no longer two different entities. WPP, which is world's biggest communication firm, WPP is the parent company for Ogilvy, Group M, all these agencies. The WPP is the parent company who owns the majority of the ad agencies. They have started calling themselves as creative transformation agencies. Majority of the biggest groups have started calling themselves as communication transformation or creative transformation companies or creative transformation agencies. They are no longer calling themselves as ad agencies and PR agencies. We have entered the era of creative transformation, which will incorporate both advertising and PR. So, person who is working in ad agency cannot say right now that I don't know anything about PR. No, you will have to. So, and similarly, a person who is working with PR agency cannot say that I don't want to know about advertising. I have nothing to do with advertising. They'll have to.
Mm.
Okay. Also, agencies have started changing themselves. They have started calling themselves in a different way. So, talking about what after working in advertising, what after working a journalist can become a writer, so do advertising person can become a writer. Advertising people have become filmmakers. PR people are becoming politicians. PR people are becoming political strategists. Prashant Kishore is the biggest name. Started his career as a public relation person, but then later on became the biggest political strategist in Indian politics, and is now also participating in elections. So, media, the one good thing about media industry that it opens doors for variety of jobs. There's a misconception that media is a struggling industry. It is struggling for those who don't know this, who don't have the strategic bend how to get into the industry. Like I always say this to students, forget about agencies. After studying advertising and PR, the first thought comes, I want to work with agencies. There's no limitation on you. Every company needs PR professionals. Every firm needs marketing managers. Every firm needs brand manager. There are government positions of public relation officers.
Mm.
Okay. So your job is not limited to agency. The world is there. I can be a marketing and a brand manager for Ambuja Cement. I can be a brand manager and marketing manager for Tata Steel. At the same time, I can also be a copywriter for some ad agency or PR agency. So media, the number of jobs that media serves you, I don't think there's any other industry that will have such variety of profiles to provide. The only thing is to have a proper training, education, and to have a proper strategic plan of getting into the industry. So what after working, let's say for example, if a student studied advertising and public relation, specifically a BBA in advertising and public relation. Not if the student doesn't want to work with agency, it's fine. The student can work anytime with any company.
Hmm.
It's always a requirement.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, one just final message if you would want to give to the students who have joined us today, who are aspiring or just willing to be here. They are always skeptical about the future of media industry or be it advertising and PR since the industry is changing so much. So, just a short message.
If you go to Shirdi, there are two words that is written every Shraddha and Sabha. I'm not a religious person, but those two words apply for media industry. Have patience and well, if you work in media industry for first 5 years, you'll find it struggling. First 5 years are struggling in every industry. But once that 5 years you have crossed that the first hurdle of 5 years, then there's no looking back. And media is booming. I don't know why people have started thinking media is a booming industry. Advertising, public relation, events, animation, gaming, films. These are the booming industry. The number of jobs that the OTT platforms have provided, we have never seen this number of people getting hired by film productions 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But now OTT platform is providing jobs to the newbies, to the new faces, to the new entrants. Okay. So media is booming and it's booming at the tremendous rate of 17 to 18% every year. And specifically post pandemic, it has increased a lot. Industries like events, industries like PR, and with this influencer marketing and all these new things that has started emerging, social media marketing, influencer marketing, the industry is, it's going upwards. It's not going backwards. It's going upwards, and from here on, it will further go upwards. That's for sure. Because if you'll see the reports, 18% is not a small number for any industry, and by till 2030, it might also cross the percentage of 30 to 35%.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. So it was a very insightful lecture. I hope all the students have got the basic understanding of what they are going to study in the course, and they have also got a little confident after getting the answers of their questions. And further, if any student have got any question, who if they want to ask, they can drop it in the chat box, or later on also they can connect with us anytime. So that was indeed an insightful lecture. So as we approach to the end of our webinar, I'm honored to deliver a formal vote of thanks. So first of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to our expert, Mr. Abhishekh Choudhary. Your insights and experiences have been incredibly enriching. Thank you for sharing the highlights of this industry and the present scenario that is there, and also for answering the queries of the questions. Thank you so much. A special thanks also goes to the founders and the PCET Board of Trustees, as well as our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Manimala Puri ma'am, our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sudeep Thepre sir, for making this event possible. I'm also grateful to our HOI, Professor Narendra Bandapay, for his constant support. Our thanks also extend to all the deans, directors, head of institutions, and faculty members from various schools of Pimpri Chinchwad University, whose presence has greatly supported us. A special appreciation and thanks to the faculty member, our Professor Pujana. And a big thank you to the marketing and admissions team for their relentless efforts in promoting this event and for providing the necessary technical support and promotion. Lastly, I would like to thank all the students who have attended this enriching session, and thank you so much for your participation. For those who have got any further additional queries related to the courses, please feel free to connect with us anytime through the link that has been provided on our website. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
वो कल दे दिया रखा है उधर तो मैं इधर उसने काटा है और अब आपको पता है ना हाँ, ज्यादा टिकट कितना काटा वो टोल का